Hey, everybody. Today I have the great pleasure of speaking with Audrey Cruz, the first woman in the world with a Neuralink implant. She made the drive over from Louisiana to Florida back in July and had her brain surgery completed by the team at the University of Miami Health Center. So, Audrey, thank you for coming on the show today. I have a list of questions that I shared with you. Can you share more about your background growing up and how your life changed after the accident?
Yes, I grew up in a very rural town, small school, everybody knew everybody. So I ended up becoming friends with the other schools around us because there's not that much in the dating pool when I was 15. And I became interested in a boy at Block High School. And we kind of started seeing each other and one thing led to another, and we became boyfriend and girlfriend. And every so often, he was allowed to pick me up from school and take me home. And one day, when he picked me up at the high school, it was me and my little brother. We ended up getting into a tragic car accident on April 13th, 2005. At the time, I was 16, Derek was 18, and my little brother Rocky was 12. It would have been 10 days, and he would have been 13. And I don't remember much about the accident. My very last memory is when we passed my friend's truck. He had a maroon truck. And I remember that when I turned and looked out of the passenger window, we were passing his truck. And that's the last thing I remember. I don't really remember my hospital stay at the local hospital. I was so heavily sedated because they didn't want me to move. They weren't sure of the way my neck was broken was like a compound fracture. So it had shattered C4 and C5 vertebrae all around my spinal cord. And it didn't sever it, it pinched it together. So in their mind, they thought maybe if we can keep her stable, then the bone fragments won't do any more damage. So 3 days after the car accident is when I went into surgery, and they went in and they put in a titanium mesh. It literally looks like those little finger traps that you used to your Chinese finger traps. That's exactly what it looks like in my neck, and it's made out of titanium mesh, and it's there from 4 and 5, and I have my own bone that they took from me, so I didn't have no cadaver bone or anything like that. They just took from me and created the bones that were shattered. While that was happening, I ended up getting pneumonia from the tilt board. And the tilt board is what they put people on from spinal cord injuries to kind of stabilize your blood pressure to see if, like, when you sit up so you don't pass out and things like that. Well, while I was on the tilt board, fluid went into my lungs, and I got so bad pneumonia that I couldn't breathe, and I ended up having to be trached to breathe. And after that, I was also put on a feeding tube. So there for a while, I actually couldn't talk at all. I had no way of communicating except with a board that had letters on it, and the people that would come in would point to the row of what letter I wanted, and I had to spell out exactly what I wanted. In the moment, I guess you're just trying to understand what your body is being put through. And that was my only way of communicating, was literally they point to a letter and I could only blink my eye to spell a sentence for I'm thirsty or I'm hot or what's going on or I'm scared. But my instincts just took over, And it was like my body knew what to do in this situation, or I should say my mind really knew what to do in this situation, was to stay calm and don't just sit there and mope about it or feel sorry about it, because there's nothing you can change about it. So in those moments, like I just kind of shoved it aside, because I felt like that, it was just something I couldn't fix at all. And, I kept seeing my brother in the hospital. And so when they told me that he had passed away, I didn't believe them, because I was seeing him in the hospital. So it it hit me really hard. So after they told me, I had to be completely sedated, because my body wasn't taking it very well, and with all the trauma I had with the spinal cord, and I hit my head and had a really big laceration, just being trached and all this, I didn't need the stress on my body. So I was just sedated. And then there came a time to where I was getting so much medication that I went into a 24-hour coma, where I was asleep 24 hours. They couldn't wake me. They were rubbing my sternum. Nothing. They didn't know why, how, what happened. Was it my body just responding to everything that had happened, or? But yes, it was 24 hours there where I just didn't wake up. This whole time that I'm in the hospital, Derek was in the ICU also. He was thrown from the driver's side window, from the flip of the car. And so if you take a boiled egg and you were to drop it on the floor, that's what his head looked like. His skull was just not crushed, but just fractured all over, so many that they couldn't count. He had blood on the brain, he had air on the brain, and his one eye was actually kind of protruding out because it had ruptured, like the orbital socket around his eye. And that's one of the things I do remember being in the hospital, and being told. And I laid there and I didn't worry about myself, and I prayed and I asked God to please heal Derek so that he would be okay. And Derek only stayed 3 days in the ICU. He had no surgery. Everything on him healed, went away, nothing. They thought for sure he was going to have brain surgery. No. He was able to go home and rest, but he still came to the hospital every day to see me and help take care of me. And after that, he graduated high school. They sent me from the local hospital to Children's in New Orleans, where I started going to therapy there. It was really tough because not only am I dealing with the fact that my life just completely changed. I can't talk, I couldn't eat, I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. I had people just not being very nice to me also at this time in my life. And my parents were going through a divorce. I felt I felt like I had nobody but Derek at that time. I started what little therapy I could do, trying to get up, trying to motivate yourself to just try. The one thing I did keep telling everybody was I wasn't going home with a trach. I told them, I was like, I'm not going home with that. I'm not. That's not me. I'm going to just watch. Definitely did that. I did not go home with no trach. I showed them. I learned to breathe with a trach, which they were fascinated by. But I'm glad I got out when I did, because I would have been in New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina at the Children's Hospital. And I think that would have been an experience I would have not been able to handle very well. So I also feel like some divine intervention definitely played in on that end because I kept wanting to go home. Just I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. And as soon as I was released, just strictly for therapy, didn't have a trach, didn't have a feeding tube. That's what I did. I went home. And then all of a sudden, Katrina. I still had my struggles at home. Everybody comes around in the beginning to see how you are, to check on you. Are you okay? Are you doing okay? Let me do this for you. And after a while, it slacks off. And then you just have your few remaining people that care, which ends up being really small, especially in my case. My mother wasn't the best. I feel like she really did take advantage of my situation in a sense of for somebody to feel more sorry for her. And oh look, this is what I did because, my daughter's in a chair and I want this kind of praise and things like that. And she's quite mean person. Said a lot of things to me that no parent should say to a kid. So I was dealing with that and I still felt like a child. Her like demanding me and this no, this is what you have to do, or keeping me under her thumb in a way. I mean, I'm not trying to talk bad, but it was what it was in the time. And Derek still stayed with me in the accident. He's still with me today. We live together. He takes care of me. He's my caretaker. He did so many different jobs, and recently, about a year ago, I ended up getting a stage 4 bed wound because he was working from leaving the house at 7 o'clock in the morning, not getting till 6 o'clock at night. And I was at home by myself that whole entire time, not eating, not, I was drinking. I was able to give myself something to drink, but I was not eating. And I ended up losing a lot of weight. I was 80 pounds, and then I had a stage 4 bed sore. And he said no. He said, I'm gonna quit my job. We're gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna stay home and take care of you because you need to heal.
Thank you for sharing that. It's great to hear that he continues to care and support you. At the time of the accident, you said you were 14, 15?
I was 16 and he was 18.
Okay. Yeah, just so I mean, such a young age, and but then also you're starting to be able to like do things on your own and you have that freedom. So it's just so tough. Any time I think would be really tough, but especially that time when you're like you feel like you're about to go, explore the world and everything.
Yeah, and it just gets taken from you right then.
You sent me these pictures, and I think it's helpful for folks to have this context.
Yeah.
Um, these are the pictures of the car.
That one is at the scene and the other 3 are at the garage.
What goes through your mind when you see these?
I don't know how we lived, how Derek and I survived that. It's hard to especially see how I made it considering that's the passenger side. That rear end is the passenger side. I stayed in the car. Rocky and Derek were thrown from the car. The passenger seat is actually broken from where it slung me forward and then it slung me back. That's how hard of a hit I was thrown back, not wearing my seatbelt, that I broke the passenger seat. But in a way, it can be distant because it's something I don't remember. I didn't see these pictures until this year because people would keep them away from me thinking that, oh, she can't handle it. Well, really, what they created was a response to, well, that's what it was. That's just the accident. That's what happened. And I can't feel, not that I don't feel sorrow, I do because that's tragic what happened, but I almost kind of feel neutral because of so many people trying to keep it from me or, oh, you don't need to see it. And then when you look at it, you're like, well, it's bad, but it wasn't as aggressive as what I thought in my mind.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's got to be this unusual feeling because you don't remember the actual accident.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't remember it at all.
so when you woke up in the hospital, you were thinking, like, "What happened?"
I knew we were in an accident, but, like, at first, they were like I said, they kept my brother being dead away from me. They had to, but I knew that Derek was in the ICU with me, and I was constantly asking the nurses, like, "How is he doing? What's going on with him?" But it's a real on and off memory because, I was getting fentanyl every 4 to 6 hours for the excruciating pain that was in my neck. And plus, I was trying to my body needed to rest because I swole up very slowly. I didn't just immediately gain all the fluid. It was a slow gain, which is actually good for the spinal cord, actually. That doesn't traumatize it as much. But my body needed that rest. So every 4, 6 hours, pain medicine, and then especially when I was getting had my trach, they would come in and they would have to suction my trach out, and because I couldn't breathe and everything like that. So some memories are quite fuzzy. Some memories I don't have at all. I mean, there's things that I don't remember. There's things that I remember differently. But yeah, the whole experience was strange, and I really didn't become aware of everything until like my mind kind of clicked back on when I was being transported from our local hospital to Children's, is when I say I woke up, because that's when everything hit me and I was really confused on what was going on and what was going on with my body. And it was almost like I had no information except that I was in a car accident. I didn't know anything else.
I
I don't
see.
know if that was just because of getting taken off the meds and traveling or whatever. But yeah, just some of that is a blur of just machine sounds and constantly asking, where's Derek or where's mom, or that's my memories of the local hospital.
To what extent were you aware of Elon Musk and Neuralink prior to, like, applying, and then what sparked you to actually apply?
Well, my knowledge of it started when they did the ABC news release of Nolan, because Derek was working and I had the TV on watching the news. And one of my favorite people, Will Reeve, was on doing the interview. And I remember when Derek come home that day, I was like, "You're not gonna believe what's going on. Elon is doing this for, quadriplegics, and they're putting a chip in there, and look, he's controlling a computer. How cool and awesome would that be?" I remember having the conversation, and it kind of just went away. I went into a really deep depression, I wasn't interested in anything, and going through the bed sore and things like that. So one night, probably a year later, after it had aired, they did a re-airing of it real briefly. And he looked at me and I was like, "Let's go to the site and check it out." And we went to the site, and that was in May. We checked it out. And he goes, "Do you want to fill out for it?" And I was like, "You know what? For the first time in my life, why not think about me? Why why can't it be me? Everything else has happened to me, and I've had certain situations that I wish I've never went through. Why can't I have a situation that is meant for me? Why not?" So we plugged in my information, and that was on a Friday. The weekend went by. Monday was a holiday. Tuesday, I'm getting a call from somebody in California who's really excited because there's not that many female applicants applying to Neuralink. And that absolutely just blew my mind. And I just thought, well, there's no way that this is happening this soon. It's so skeptical. And then I started getting on the phone with doctors. They're looking at me, and I'm getting asking questions like, "How far are you from Miami? When can you get there?" Well, Derek, my caretaker, he's like, "It's 17 hours. Give me 17 hours, and I'll get her down there." And they did. They were like, "Yeah, we want you." And then in that moment, me and him both were like, "Oh, how are we going to get down there and afford it?" Because I mean, with him sitting with me, he doesn't get paid much, and then all I get is my social security. That's what we live off. I don't get really that much help, $100 in food stamps. So yeah, we struggle. So I reached out to my niece, and I wanted her opinion on if this was something she would do. Should I do it? Is it a risk? How does she feel about it? And she wanted to know how it made me feel. And I told her, my dad, that for some reason I just felt like this was my purpose. That as soon as I filled that application out, something in me said, "You're really going to be the one to do this. You're really going to be the first woman to go through it." And that I'm going to do it, and I'm going to change my life for the better. I'm going to be able to be that person that I've always wanted to be, be a little independent, be helpful. I'm not just sitting there. I can help you. What do you want me to look up? Like my technology skills are crap because 2005, that's as far as I went with technology. So even jumping in, I went head first for this. I was for it. And she handed me a credit card and she said, "Aunt Audie, I love you. Go to Miami." So I got on the phone and I got in touch with those people. They told me what I needed to do. I had a month to prepare. So I went down there I left my house on June 6th to drive to Miami. Took us 2 days to get there. And as soon as I got there, the very next day, we get up, we're doing the evaluation, and I'm checking every box. You're healthy. You don't have a bed sore. You're this. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect. But there was that one thing. I had a little bit of strength in my bicep that they were trying to classify me whether it was going to make me in or was it going to take me out. It was that fine of a line. And I had to sit and be okay with that, to understand that that muscle could take me out. And I was okay with that. I didn't want it to be, but I understood that if it was a no, it was a no. I didn't doubt it. When they gave me the call and said that you're approved for surgery, I knew. They just kept me down there, and I ended up having surgery within the next week. So I had surgery like on the 18th, 19th. I didn't have time to prepare as much as the other participants. They went through, months of screening and waiting and going down there and seeing all the doctors so many different times. I didn't. I went from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, back to this doctor, and being told, "Okay, you're approved. Is this what you want to do?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And the other amazing thing about this is that I actually got to do this with P8. P8 decided to do their surgery, and they wanted to do two at one time. And since I was in Florida right then and there, ready, saying, "I'll do surgery when you're ready," he went before me. And he gave me the strength to not be scared, and it was going to be fine. When he came out, like, he sent video to me telling me that, he hopes everything goes great. And I was there for him when I woke up too. The first thing I want to do is make sure that he was doing okay. And yeah, it was a different bonding experience when you and somebody else are going through something so similar. Well, actually the same thing, but for different reasons. And you automatically are cheering this person on. You don't know who they are, but we love each other today, and it's a friendship that is going to last for eternity over this. And I thank him too, because his inspiration of just telling me that you can do it. Like, you're gonna be fine. Nothing is gonna happen, and you're gonna be able to do this, and you got it. So I really do have to thank P8 too.
Yeah, that's cool that you guys, I mean, not only you're the first in the woman in the world to do this, but also first time that they did 2 in the same day,
Yeah.
and then, among the first in Miami. So, it's really just, special that you were able to do all this. So, there are some clear benefits, but as you alluded to, it's not like there are no risks. There are risks. So, how concerned were you about doing the procedure?
Well, going into it, I made sure that any questions that I had or that Derek had or any important loved ones had were answered, and not just answered to, you know, well, I don't think so. It was not like that. We made sure what was the percentage of getting an infection, what was head to toe, what was the concerns, what were the risks, and they had to sit down and tell me, and they're like, look, you can go through this whole thing and not even, it might not even work. There's no guarantee. And I was just so willing to take that risk because I was so confident into myself that I just went for it. It's like I had concern, but they made me feel comfortable with the procedure. I did my own reading up. Derek did his own reading. I asked the doctor everything, anything. They were very open, came forward with everything that I needed to know. And I was never pressured or pushed or coaxed or anything like that. It was completely my decision to do this. And I have to say, I think it's one of the best ones I've ever made in my whole entire life.
And can you tell us more about that day of surgery support and afterwards from the hospital and from the Neuralink team?
So it started that morning when we come in for, pre op, and had to get everything a little situated. I got Nick situated too. Couldn't have anything to eat or drink, was very thirsty. And I had the nicest two nurses in there with me that were taking such great care of me, taking such great care of Derek, making sure that he had what he needed and giving him food, make sure he had something to drink, and making sure if I was cold or hot or uncomfortable or do you want to watch TV or things like that. It was a different experience from anything I'd experienced around here with nurses and doctors. Um, like, just super nice, super, and already knew what to do. Like, they knew their job. I didn't have to ask for help. They just immediately jumped in. They knew how to take care of me or whatever because of my spinal cord injury. They're used to it. They've seen people like this before. Where I live, there's a few of us, but there's not that many people, and the nurses and stuff around here aren't really educated on that. So it was a very wonderful experience. I almost just wanted to live back there. And then when I woke up in the ICU, same thing. Lovely, sweet, caring people, just making sure that you are okay. I was having a little bit of some blood pressure issues. When I was there, it was fluctuating a little low. They cared. They were there. They were making sure, like, is this normal? Is this something that you go through daily? And unfortunately it is. It's just something that I have to deal with is low blood pressure, but they completely understood. And anytime if there was a concern, they were there, or trying to give me make sure I didn't need any medicine for pain, or if I couldn't take it because my blood pressure was too low, to make sure that nothing would happen, if my blood pressure is too low and I take a medication that, would sedate me a little too much. So I had great, great care. The docs after the surgery, they came and spoke to me, and just so nice and enthusiastic with what they've done, what they're doing, and just head to toe following you up to make sure that you are feeling the best that you can feel in that moment. And everybody's just so supportive. And I had people that were like, "Hey, here's my number. If you need some food, give me a call and I'll send food to your hotel room, and I just thought that that was the sweetest thing and a great experience, especially for what I was going through. It's an experiment. You're not sure. I was confident, but you're still not sure what exactly is going to happen. And it just really drove me in understanding that I did make the right choice by filling it out and having them be the ones, especially Miami, to be the hospital to take care of me. The doctors that were there are amazing. The staff that was there was amazing. It makes me want to live down there with them because they were just so nice and friendly to be around.
Yeah, it's great to hear that that continues to be the case. Like I hear this from, all of the patients that their experience is consistently positive with
Yeah.
Neuralink and the hospital, whether it's at Barrow or it's at Miami. Let's see, I have this post that I wanted to share
Day morning of surgery.
before unwrapping and after.
Yeah.
Pretty, not too much scarring.
No, they did a really good job on the stitching. My hair came in good. The scar healed very nicely. Had no issues. Yeah, now it's just a little extra decorative up there and wait until my hair grows back.
I'm curious what this stitch is for. Do you
Uh,
know?
yes, that's where they anchored the machine to me, so it could be precise.
Mental health has been a key theme in your posts on X. How has the Neuralink experience impacted your mental well-being and overall outlook on life?
It gave me life back. Being able to be somewhat independent and not having to ask all the time, like, "Hey, I wanna play a game and I need you to be my hands." Nope, I don't need him for that now. I can play a game on my own. I can turn the TV on my own. And recently, I've been able to express a lot of my feelings through my art, and
Mhm.
it's calming, it's relaxing. My anxiety levels tend to go away. My depression has been really at bay. I sleep better at nighttime, ready and willing to go and do things now. It's given me freedom.
I love that. I love that. That's like the most impactful thing that they could provide. So I'm glad to hear that. As you stated, and I think it's probably true, your stories could fill a book. What would be the core message you would want readers to take away?
That we all have struggles and we can get through them. We just have to try. And it's how much effort you put into it and the amount of effort you put into it that's going to come back to you 10 times fold. So, yes, did I struggle? Absolutely. But look at the reward that I'm getting. I'm the first woman to receive the Neuralink implant. Little old me from small town Louisiana, not important, not special, nothing, just here, quadriplegic, doing nothing, and they chose me. And I think that that is absolutely an amazing thing. So I want people to know that just because you struggle, that doesn't mean that's the end. Keep going, be positive, keep positive people in your life, and it will go a long way. Like I'm telling you right now, I have been in the lowest of the lows and felt so unworthy to be here, to now wanting to be not just here and present, but active into the community and be more in with my family. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. But and being able to take care of things that I haven't been able to take care of for a while. So, like just being able to order food online or do a Walmart pickup takes the burden you know, off of Derek for that moment. "Hey, let me do grocery shopping for you." I know I can't do the laundry and I can't cook dinner, but I can order dinner and it can be here. I can help you. And so I feel like I have so much of a purpose. So yeah, those struggles that you go through, there's a purpose for you. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's there. Just keep going. It's for you, it's out there. Happiness is out there, love is out there. And that's exactly what I'd want my book to be about.
Nice. Yeah, that resilience and hope and message of inspiration is so powerful. I think back to like you saying that you found out about Neuralink through Nolan doing his interview,
Yeah.
and potentially you are providing that same thing for others down the road. So that's really special.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. If one person applies just because they see this story, then I reached my goal. That's my purpose. They need to know, is it scary? Yes. Is it life changing? Yes. But to me, it's absolutely worth it. And we need a more female present out there. We have to be included. We matter. Our brains matter too. Come on, we got to be part of this. We have to be part of this movement too and help others that are like us that struggle in the same, mental space that we're in. And we can understand that.
I'll play this video that you posted on X.
Hi, everyone. I'm Audrey Cruz, P9, also known as Neuronova 9. I'm here to tell you about my experience with my BCI and what it feels like and what I might be doing with it in the future. So it feels very bizarre and exciting. Um, all I have to do is think about something moving right or left, and it seems to just follow my directions with ease. I plan on doing some art. I found that out with writing my name, as you all saw. I did a little bit more art, maybe see how creative I can be. I plan on writing a book about my story from the beginning of my childhood to experiencing everything I experienced being paralyzed for 20 years to now receiving the BCI. And I'm 100% sure that this is going to change my life for the better. And I can only go up from here. And thanks to everyone from Neuralink.
You've shared that the implant allows you to control a computer cursor by imagining moving your wrist and your finger. Does
Mhm.
it now feel intuitive, or is it still kind of like magical?
It still feels magical because it really humbles you and feels like magic that, I've watched the X-Men. It's like I'm Professor X, I can move stuff with my mind. So the little kid in me feels very magical. But as I'm using it more and more every day, it's almost like I pair up with it. As soon as I get on the computer, it's very much intuitive, just knowing what to do and using the right finger and being patient at first because it takes time, and then just learning to be accurate, and it becomes so natural to the point to where like I almost kind of forget that you have to visualize moving your arm, that it just becomes like, oh, you're just moving the cursor, and the whole action of moving tends to kind of go away.
Nice. Yeah, I actually framed the question pretty goofy. Like I framed them as opposites, but they're it's both magical and intuitive. What are you most excited about regarding this technology and just excited about in general?
I'm excited to see where this is going to lead us to the future. For us, we're, with spinal cord injuries and ALS, it's hard. It's a hard life. We're so dependent on others, and this technology is only the beginning for me, for other women, other quadriplegics, other people with ALS, hopefully even further, diseases, people who are blind. Maybe we were able to get people up out of the chair, being able to be stimulated by their brain, or however we're able to help people extend the quality of their life, to be and to enjoy and be present and not feel like so much as an afterthought. We can be involved and feel like we're part of society again, instead of, oh well, that's just the person, that's disabled down the street, and they just stick to themselves because they don't get out much. No, we're getting out there now, and this BCI is definitely helping us. And I'm going to use mine for a neuro art studio. I want to open up one, and it'll be available to those who have a BCI only, and any type of art that they want to create, whether it's music or art like I do, or poetry or anything like that. I'd be more than glad to showcase it. I think it's a great thing that we would be able to express ourselves, and I would want to extend that to others too. And yeah, give them the option. Hey, come join me. Be part of this. Let's let everyone know how you really do feel, and how this makes you feel.
I'm throwing up some examples of your artwork. This cat, and then
I've
this
gotten a little
tree.
better.
I like this one. This is funny.
The banana. I think I did a butterfly the other day on X. So I'm slowly getting better. Takes a lot of control.
And then the shading you also did,
Yeah, I did all of that. Drew, shading, all of it.
and then you are raising money for your Neura Art Studio,
I'm
and
trying.
I'll make sure to include a link to that at the end.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, all whatever little amount that helps. I'm ready to get it off the ground, and I've ordered some prints in, so hopefully soon I'll be able to put some up on the website, and people will be able to go ahead and get a purchase of one of their favorites, or maybe a new one that I've created that I haven't let out yet. And I'm ready to see what's next in my life. I know it's going to be happy and very joyful, but I'm ready for it.
I think that's pretty special that we've seen with Nolan recently. Like he's been able to go back to school, and now he's working full time as a keynote speaker. Like
Yeah.
just that thought of being able to be a full time worker is a totally different mindset shift than what he had just a few years ago. So it's I think it's just so powerful that you and he and others are able to view, doing stuff, creating things
Yeah.
in that way.
It like I said before, it's just so freeing, and it gives you that little bit of independence back, to know that you're doing something for yourself. But the bigger point is that we're doing this for other people also, because we know that there's going to be further studies, there's going to be, better implants that's going to be out there. This is just the first step. And people got to sign up and do it. And yeah, I would encourage those who think, if they qualify and they think they can handle the surgery and the sessions and the workload that it can put on you, and are ready to change your life, I would recommend getting on there and applying, and just see how far it can take you.
Has it set into you that you'll be remembered in the history books for centuries and millennia?
It's starting to. I've had this fear my whole life that I was always just going to be forgotten about, especially after my accident. I don't have children. Where's my legacy going to go? Who's actually going to remember me? And now knowing that someday my future generation of nieces can be like, oh, it's Women's History Month, and I'm going to tell you that my Aunt Audie got to be the first one to work with Neuralink and get an implant, is so humbling and a proud thing to be able to say, just knowing that I made a difference in the world, and I will be remembered, and my legacy will be, who knows? We're still writing it, right?
Post that you had on X that talks about your accident and then just really growing up with Derek. Can you tell us more about like how he's been involved in your life and how your guys' relationship has grown over the past 20 years?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. We pretty much did grow up together. We went through this together. I don't think we thought about it for a second chance or anything like that. We just knew that this was something we were going to go through together, and there were growing pains we had to go through. There were times that we didn't understand each other, because we're experiencing life two different ways. Him as a caretaker and worker and things like that, and me just, being disabled and things like that, and trying to accept that and be part of the world too. I wouldn't say we did the best job at it, but when we came to moments of knowing that, hey, I need you and you need me, we took those opportunities to put anything and everything aside that we had to, and me help him and him help me get the help that we needed, whether it was therapy or just a hug, or just to be there to support and give the encouragement of that you can do this, and all of that is been fantastic. He's been the other half of me. I would not know life without him. He does everything for me without question. I don't have to ask. I do, but I don't have to. And that's something that's grateful and that was given to me that nobody can ever take away.
If he wants to be on camera, then he's welcome to,
Will
but
do? Okay.
if not, that's totally fine
Yeah,
too.
he'll come talk to you. Come here.
Yeah. Hey, Derek,
Hey,
nice to meet
how's
you.
it going? Nice to meet you too.
Thank you for just being such a loving person. Like, obviously, if Audrey's speaking highly of you like this, then it's clear that you've had a very meaningful impact on her life, and vice versa. So
Thank you so much.
if you could share your point of view and perspective of the accident and just growing up together.
We can start with the accident. That was a life-changing moment. That was a point in our lives that, and we didn't know it, that our roads met, and we didn't know we was going to be together forever. But here we are, 21 years later, and we're still together. We're still running as strong as we was, even better, because now we understand the tragic events that we went through at such a young age. The accident played a role in our lives that can never be erased. It changed us forever. We had to grow up faster than most. There was things that we did because of emotion instead of taking the time and really thinking about our actions. And I believe that our growth from that has made the people that you see today. We had to go through that to get to this point. It wasn't nice, it wasn't easy, it wasn't pretty, but we went through that to be who we are today and in the position that we are. I believe that we were meant for a purpose. I believe that she was meant for a purpose. And I think that we're on that journey together to find out.
I mean, I think about even folks who are able-bodied and they have a relationship with somebody in high school or middle school or whenever, and then they grow up with them, and whether they remain close that entire time or end up growing close together later, like there's something so special about having that context of growing up with somebody and knowing somebody from such an early age versus relationships that develop from people that didn't know each other for the first 30 years of their life and then connect. So it's so cool that you guys have that support with one another from that early age. Can you also talk about the experience of like driving to the hospital and getting the implant?
Oh yeah. Like whenever she told me about this procedure that Nolan had gotten, I had never even seen this. She told me about it. We pulled up the website, and I was curious at what this technology was. Like I'd never really heard about it. It never was really on the news that I had watched. And I wasn't in the tech industry, so I didn't really have a knowledge of it. We got on the website though, and we were checking everything out. And I told her, I was like, if this is something that she wants to do, I'm behind her. Like if she wants to fill this out and she wants to go for this, I'm behind her. I'm here for her. It's her time now. It's her time to step forward and for me to step back and then help her achieve her goals. It's her time. This is for her. So yeah, we filled it out, and the process was a little faster than most. We fit in some different boxes, and it was a quick entrance into this. So we get the call. They want us down in Florida. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. When do we go? How much time do we have to get ready for this? What do we need to do to get on the road today? I was as about as supportive as you could think for something that I had little knowledge on at this point. Because I still didn't know exactly everything behind this. I still didn't know all the technology behind this. So I still was going into it green. We make the drive to Miami and we start seeing the doctors and we start talking to people and they answer every question that we have, the hard questions. What if something was to happen? What if something was to go wrong? Like, how do you explain that? My mind went to that, and I hate to say that it did, but I had to. I was thinking, like, what if I had to tell her family that this happened and now she's no longer with us? Because there's still that thought in the back of your mind that anything could happen. No one knows. You don't know what's going to happen. You can prepare for everything. You can have all the boxes checked, but there's still that one chance that something could happen. Her body not react the way that they think that her body's going to react. And it was just me and her down there. We were alone. We didn't have nobody.
Mhm.
We don't have family. We don't have a bunch of family that could participate. Nobody knew about this. We were keeping it quiet. So to have that run through your head, to think about, just maybe I'm going to have to give some bad news to her family. It was tough. It really was. And I don't think that I still wasn't okay until she was in the ICU unit and I was able to see her. I had to see her. I had to put my hands on her to make sure that she was okay. But the procedure went amazing.
Great.
From my knowledge of everything that happened, everyone there was so supportive. The team that they put together is amazing. The people, they're the best at what they do. And I'm not just saying that. I mean that there's people there that actually care. You can tell when someone cares and you can tell when somebody's just doing their job. And I believe that those people, that they cared. They helped with everything. They helped me with everything. They people helped me more than people that I'm around here in town with. Like, those people were there for me when others wasn't, or I didn't have nobody. I really don't. We don't have a huge support system. It's me and her. Her dad is starting to come back into the picture. We've been working on other relationships with other family members.
Making sure it's healthy.
Yeah, healthy relationships. But whenever she was in the ICU unit and I was able to get back to her and put my hands on her to make sure she was okay, I think I was
Mhm.
about the happiest that I could have been. It was a relief. Like, I finally have you back to myself. I can touch you. You're good. You're fine. You're breathing. And to see her go through all of this and to have more independence, to be able to get on a computer, technology that she didn't have access to. I mean, imagine going to sleep in '05 with technology being the way it was then, and then waking up now and having a MacBook and your fingers, metaphorically speaking, on the internet. Like, her brain is connected to it now. Like, she can pull up anything that she wants. She can do what she wants now on the internet. She has access to technology that she never had before, and she's able to go places now where she wasn't. She was always in a box. She was always in a room. She was always on the other side of the screen, but not able to interact the way that she wanted to. She couldn't put her feelings out there. She couldn't put the way that she really felt because it was always me controlling the device for her. She didn't have assistive technology that other people may have had. So imagine that. Imagine waking up and then having this put in front of you, and now you're like a kid in a candy store
Yeah.
and you got to taste all the
Mhm.
flavors. So that's like what's happening right now. Where she's trying everything. It's like seeing someone grow in front of me. Like, she's growing more because now she's able to experience more on her own instead of me being there to have to control it for her. She has control of it. She's able to go to the sites that she wants to go to. She's able to speak and write her thoughts out the way that she wants them to be done. Her art, she's able to express herself now without using your typical method. I mean, imagine that. Imagine being able to create a piece of art with your mind and to bypass the control of your muscles, of your environment. You're bypassing all of that. You're just using it's straight from the mind to the computer, and she's controlling the cursor. I don't know if you've ever tried to draw on a touchpad and have a stylus in your hand, but you have control. You can change your position to control your speed. You can change your position, or you can adjust by turning your wrist or your fingers, your movement. You have muscle memory. You have all these other things that you have that she's not using. She's not using any of that. She's not using the methods that we would use normally to create. It's a lot harder than what people actually think
Yeah.
that it is. Imagine you thinking the cursor moving, but you're trying to control it at the same time at a speed that you can feel. And then thinking about having to click the button to hold down to make the drawing, to move it without being able to see your hand, your fingers, the way your body is adjusted to the pad. None of that. You have none of those senses. All those senses are gone. So it's special. And I hope more people see it. I hope more people get to experience what she's doing. And the collection that she's working on now, we're hoping to be able to debut within the next month or so. And I believe everybody, once they see everything, they'll be able to connect with her more and the
Yeah.
stories that the pieces have behind them. It's going to be special. It's going to be something to look for.
I mean, at the very beginning of your answer, I was thinking, like you were saying that Audrey gets a chance to now be the one that gets to step forward. And I think, you showcased that by your action of stopping your job and prioritizing her as and being caretaker. That's really special. That shows a lot, I think.
And it's not an easy it's not an easy task. It's not something that most, and I want to say, and I'm not saying this to be mean or anything. It's not something that most men think about when you think about a masculine environment, or you think about a male dominant area. You don't think about that. You don't that people don't put themselves in that position because they don't put themselves in that role. And I think that that's something that people need to see also, is that when you make a commitment with someone, that means no matter what, like you're going to be there for them no matter what. If this is what they need right now, then that's what you need to do right now. You need to be there for that person the way that they need you to be.
Yeah, I agree. I do want you guys both to be able to share any messages that you want to the audience. Like these are current patients, could be prospective patients, current employees, maybe future employees, and then people in the medical community and or just people who are interested in technology.
Definitely, if you feel like you're a candidate, I say apply, wholeheartedly do it. Answer the questions that you want answered. Make sure that you're good with it. This is something that you want to do, something that you can take on, because it is like a job. It's not just, oh, we're playing around having fun. There's things that you have to do. There's a doctor's appointments that have to be done and sessions and stuff that you have to go through with Neuralink and things like that. So, I mean, it is taking on something. So make sure that you are definitely mentally prepared to do so. And another thing is you're going to have a willing caretaker that is going to be absolutely ready to take on just as much as you are and understand that this is going to take a toll on your body, and surgery is, major, and you can't just do it alone with somebody that might kind of be there. It's going to have to be somebody who's always going to be there and be your right hand with everything that you're going through. And for Neuralink and the medical staff, they're doing amazing. The people that they are using to represent them are awesome, amazing, just not in it for themselves people. They love doing what they're doing. They love seeing the growth. I'm so excited when I have to go back to an appointment to see certain people because there's just those certain ones that stick out that went through the whole experience with us and called and made sure I was okay and just went that extra step that they didn't have to. And they went above and beyond for me, and that goes a long way. And so, yeah, if you're interested, go for it. You know, if you think you can handle it and it's something that you want to pursue, do it.
Yeah, and I double up on what she's saying with the people down in Miami. The project to cure paralysis, that's an amazing project that they have down there, and the people that are there, they make you feel like family. You're not just a number. You're not another patient. You're family. People are there to help you no matter what. Even if this surgery wouldn't have happened and she would have been denied it, we would have still gotten help from them. They were that I mean that's how willing they were to help. You know, even if this would have never happened, we could have still relied on them for assistance.
Yeah.
Like we could have still talked to them. We could have still got their input because the facility down there is way different than what we have in Louisiana. Like we don't have that type of facility that is tailored to her. So I think the whole thing was it was a it was eye opening. It was a big eye opening experience because there was a lot of firsts that actually happened. And this technology is not just stopping here. This is like the step. We're stepping forward into a new age. We're stepping forward where technology and humanity starts to intertwine. And we need that. We need that for humanity's sake. And I believe that there's more to come. The universe is out there. So it's getting everyone on board.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with the convoy study, like to be able to control an assistive robotic arm.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Neuralink about that, or have they talked to you about that?
I have, but not gotten any response back on that because it's my surgery is still new and we got to go through that year checkup and stuff first. So hopefully, once this year goes by, I'll be entering into the robotics area too.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how
Yeah.
everything goes. Yeah,
Yeah, if they ask me, I'm willing to do it.
Okay. Well, yeah, definitely appreciate you guys both sharing your stories, and I hope everybody can learn from your guys' experience, and then also go to your guys' GoFundMe page. Let's see, I'll throw that up on the screen.
Yes, truly appreciate it.
yeah, we've got
Yeah.
prints ordered. We're trying to get everything established on the website to where we can reach more people. But we do have some prints that are coming in that I ordered. We're going to see the quality of those, and then we're going to go from there.
Okay, nice. And it should be launched very soon.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
working on the website. This is something I've never done before, so I'm trying to build a website also and figure this out. But we do have the business name is started, the business is started. The more support that we get, the faster we're able to get this done.
Yeah.
So we are going to be taking a trip to New Orleans also to check some of the contemporary art museums, and we're going to go down there and hopefully we can talk to a few artists and the community and
Yeah, see if we can get some
see if we
support.
can get some support. But yeah, I believe the internet site will be up and running hopefully by next month. And if everything goes well with these prints, we can order some prints. We're gonna have a limited number of prints this first showcase. So we're still deciding on how many per print that we're actually going to be doing. And we have some surprises for people that get the limited number. We'll have some prints that have a limited number. Those people that receive those, they get a little extra. And It'll consist of a recording of the session of her making the piece on the laptop. It'll be a video of her actually creating it. And then they're going to get a thumbprint. It'll be her thumbprint on the side of the picture, but it'll be in UV light. So you'll be able to take a UV light and look over it and see her thumbprint. And she's also going to have a certificate of authenticity that'll be with it. But these are going to be like some of her special pieces. So there'll be a story behind those pieces. And I believe that everyone will love them. I really do.
So,
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great. I think that's great. And I have been thinking about doing this for a while, but now I've decided that I'll give any of the YouTube ad revenue that I get, I'll donate it to this cause.
oh my
Really?
God, thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's not that insane of an amount, but
It doesn't
I
matter.
think yeah.
Any support that we
It's
get, anything,
appreciated.
we appreciate it. We really do. Like any support.
Yeah.
The more that people support us, the more that the faster we're able to get this going.
Yeah.
And if we could have like a brick and mortar place to where we could display this, but not only hers though, but other participants that are
To
coming
soon to
through,
come.
if someone is creating something with a CNC machine and he's creating it with his mind though, that's still something that's special. If you're programming something, if you had someone that was doing all of this with their mind, imagine to showcase the art, to showcase what these other participants are doing. Even if it's writing a book, we could still showcase that. If it's creating music, we could showcase that. If this person writes poetry and they want to come down and showcase their art and have an exhibit opening, we could put that on for them. We could help them get their voice out also. And I want this to be something that doesn't just stop with us. I think that this needs to continue. I think that this is something that's going to grow. I think that the more participants that they have, the more opportunities people will have to see this and connect with people.
Become a community.
Yes, exactly. Become a community, become support system for other participants that maybe don't have an outlet. Maybe they just need somebody to talk to. They just need some help.
Yeah. Some
We
advice.
we can connect them with people. We can talk to them. We can be there for them.
And truly understand.
And yeah, exactly. Understand exactly what they're going through. So this is not just for us to help get out of our situation. We're not just trying to better ourselves. We're trying to build a community also.
Yeah, I think that vision is really powerful, and the aspirations are great. So yeah, happy to support with the ad revenue from this video. I'll give to you guys, and then same thing for the other patients, like the ad revenue that I get from their interviews, I will give to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope this continues to grow and you guys meet your 10,000 or 13,000 goal.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's our first goal is to get to that point. And then after that we're shooting for more, and then the more that we get in, the more that we can produce, the more that we can show, and the
faster we can get out there.
The faster, yeah. And then other exhibits.
Yeah.
We can do other exhibits. We can do technology exhibits. We can think of more things to do. We can
Go more places.
create a VR environment that maybe she's created with technology. Maybe we can step inside her art one day, or step inside her mind and see exactly what it goes on. So I do have grand ideas, but we're taking baby steps. We're getting there.
Definitely.
For sure. Pleasure talking to you both. Thank you for doing this.
Thank
Oh
you.
no, thank you.